Привет! Today I would like to tell you how would sound your name in Russia, in Russian language, or how you can change your name in Russian style if you wish. I'm gonna make two parts of these videos, the first one with female names and the second one with male names. And first of all, I would like to notice that if I say Russian name, that doesn't actually mean that the name is originally Russian or Slavic, because if it would be, then there would be probably no Western version of this name, so I just wouldn't be able to use it to give it to you. So most of the names in the list I made are not with Russian origin. Of course, there are some, but it's just my fantasy, so they are sounding similar with some other names, so I decided to add them as a suggestion. But most of them, it's different origin names. For example, Greek names are very popular in Russia for centuries, for decades, as many other names with other origins. And I can tell you about Russian modification of these names and how they can be different from Western versions of the names and how you could probably use them if this is your name and if you had such kind of wish. So now let's begin. I'm gonna go a little bit in alphabet order, not to forget anything, but sometimes I added some names which I actually forgot about and then remembered, so sometimes it's gonna be a little bit mixed, but for Russian names I go in the alphabet order. And we are beginning with the name Agata. The Russian version of name Agata is Agafia. So if you are Agata and you want to say it in Russian way, you can use Agafia. As far as I know, in Western countries, Agata is like name for all ladies. The same thing in Russia with name Agafia. But with name Agata itself, actually now it's very trendy, and many mommies give this name to their baby girls, so it perceives as a different name, which is Western and which is nice. But Agafia, yeah, it's more like a name for old lady. I actually don't mind name Agafia. The short version I don't like, it's Agasha, but if you like and if you want, you can use it as your Russian name. If your name is Alexandra, we also have this name in Russia, but as a short version we use not Alex as in Western countries, but name Sasha, and the same way for boys too. So Alexander is Sasha too. There is also version Shura, but it's not so popular. It was more popular in Soviet Union. Nowadays it's more like Sasha. I know that in Western countries there is name Sasha too, but if I'm not mistaken, it's just separate name. And in Russia it's short one from Alexander or Alexandra. If your name is Ailin, then in Russia you can go by name Alina. I'm not sure that they have the same roots, but actually they sound quite similar, so maybe they are. And there is no short version. In a software you can say Alinочка, for example, so you can go by this name. If you are Anastasia, there is Russian version Anastasia, and to tell you the truth, I like Anastasia more than Anastasia, but I like the full name. But the short variant in Russia is Nastya, and I don't like it. And Anastasia is a beautiful name, but for example, for my generation, it was too much popular. There were too much girls named Nastya, and that's why I don't really like it, despite Anastasia sounds quite beautiful. So if you want, you can modify your name like that. If your name is Scarlett, it's a little bit not obvious, but there is a Russian name Alla, and Ali in Russian actually means scarlet. So if you want to go by Russian version of name Scarlett and you like it, you can use name Alla. It's also a little bit old-fashioned, but not so much as, for example, Agafia, so you can use it, and the soft way is Allочка. If your name is Angelina, there is name Angelina in Russian, so almost the same, just letter G sounds a bit different in English, G. And it goes short as Gelia, which I don't like at all. The less popular short version is Lina, which I like much more. And yeah, again, in the software, you probably can say Angelinочка, but this is too long, so usually people don't do this. If your name is Valentina, in Russia we also have this name, and again, it's a little bit old-fashioned for Russia, but it exists, and in a short way it goes as Valia, in a soft way as Valichka, so if you want, also you can use it like that. If your name is Valerie, then in Russia there is name Valeria, which is also pretty common, mostly for my generation. The short variant is Lera, and the soft variant is Lerочка, or sometimes it can be Lerusia, Lerok, or something like this. If your name is Barbara, in Russia we have name Varvara, and the short variant is Varya, which I don't like at all. You can say Varichka, Varusha, Varenka, something like this. If your name is Fate, there is name Vera, which is actually means fate in Russian, but as far as I know, also there is name Vera in Western countries, and in a soft way you can say, for example, Verочка. If your name is Veronica, we have name Veronica, almost the same, just with a different vowel, and it goes short. We usually say Nika. If your name is Victoria, in Russia we have absolutely the same name, Victoria, but usually it goes short as Vika, and the soft way is Vikusia, Vikulia. Sometimes it can be Vikochka, but it's a little bit strange. So also, if you want, you can use this short version in Russian style. If your name is Daria, we also have name Daria in Russia, but it goes short as Dasha. And in a soft way, you can say Dashenka. And, well, you can say Dashechka or something else, but usually it's just Dashenka, it's more common. If your name is Eugenia, the Russian version of this name is Evgenia, and it goes short as Zhenya. And also there is male name, as in English Eugene, in Russian Evgeny, which is also Zhenya as a short way. But if you want to say soft, then you can say, for example, Zhenichka. Also, I met a variant when Evgenia was short as Yeva, and Yeva, it's a Russian version of name Eve. I like Yeva actually more than Eve. So again, if your name is Eve, you also can modify it in a Russian way, Yeva. If your name is Catherine, the Russian version is Yekaterina. The short one is Katya. The soft one is Katinka, Katyusha, Katinka. There is also old-fashioned variant Katerina, but it's not popular nowadays, only if you want people to name you like that by your own wish, you can say this, but usually it's more for old books. For example, Dostoevsky or something like this. There you can meet characters named Katerina. And by the way, I forgot to tell about Anastasia, that there is also old-fashioned short name Nastasia, a short name of Anastasia. Again, you can meet this in old books. So Nastasia, yeah, full name will be Anastasia, but now Nastya is more typical, only if you want to be more unusual, bohemic, then you can ask to call you Nastasia. If your name is Helen, in Russian it's gonna be Yelena, and it goes short as Lena. In a soft way you can say Lenочка, Lenok, or Lenusia. If your name is Elizabeth, in Russian it's gonna be Елизавета. We don't have so many short versions of Elizabeth as in English language. Usually we just say Lisa, and there are many soft versions of name Lisa, like Lizonька, Lizочка, Lizok probably. Also, again, there is old-fashioned version, which is Lisaveta, or Lizaveta, but it's not typical for nowadays. If your name is Zena, there is a Russian name Zina, which was very popular in Soviet Union. The full name is Zinaida. Now it's a little bit old-fashioned, but if you want, you can use it. If your name is Goldie, in Russia there is name Zlata, which actually Zolota means gold, and Zlata it's something like golden girl. So if you want, you can translate your name like this. If your name is Irene, there are two versions in Russia, Irina or Arina. Irina goes short as Ira, and in a soft way as Irisha, Irочка, Irusia. Arina, the most common variant to say Arisha. If your name is Carrie, it's just my fantasy. I thought that it's a little bit similar with the Russian name Karina. But also, if your full name is Caroline, there is name Karolina in Russia, not very popular, but it exists, so you also can go by this name. If your name is Cassie, again, just my fantasy, there is Russian name Ksenia, and if you want to make your name more Russian, this one sounds pretty similar. And there is a Ukrainian version of name Ksenia, which is Oksana, and this name is also popular in Russia. And as far as I know, there is a name Roxana in Western countries. So again, you can use this name because just one letter difference. If your name is Laura, there is a Russian name Larisa. The short version is also Lara or Laura, Larочка. So if you want, you can use this name too. If your name is Lydia, we have it in Russia too, and it goes short as Lida. In a soft way, we can say Lidочка, Lidusia, and this name is also a little bit old-fashioned, but anyway, if you want, you can take it. If your name is Lucy, we have name Lucia, so with a little bit different ending, and this is a short version of name Любовь, which means love in Russian. If your name is Margaret, we have name Margarita, and the short variant is Rita. I know that in Western countries Rita is like a separate name, but in Russia it's the short way to say Margarita. Also, yeah, there is Margot, but it's not really popular, so usually we say Rita, and in a soft way it's like Ritочка, Ritusia, or Rituля, something like this. For name Maria, there is a complete analog, Maria, in Russia too, but it goes short as Masha, and sometimes we can say Marusia, but it's old-fashioned, and in a soft way also Marusia or Mashenька. Yeah, usually just Mashenьka or something like this. If your name is Marta, in Russia this is name Marfa, also pretty old-fashioned, but it exists, and in a soft way we can say Marfusha. Marfusha is the most common, or Marfochka. If your name is Hope, we have name Nadezhda, which is literally translated as hope, so you can go by this name, and the short version is Nadia. The soft one is Nadinka or Nadyusha. If your name is Natalie, there is pretty famous Russian name Natalia. It can be Natalia or Natalia, so as you wish more, but it's pronounced almost the same. And the short variant is Natasha, the most popular. Also, some people can say Nata, but it's a rare thing. In a soft way, people usually say Natashenька or Natusia. If your name is Holly, it's just my fantasy. We have name Oля, so I think it's a little bit similar, so you can go by this name. And the full version of name Oля is Olga, and again, just my fantasy. I found it a bit similar with name Helga, so if your name is Helga, and you want to find something close to Russian, I could suggest the name Olga. If your name is Regina, we have name Regina, almost the same as with Angelina, just one letter reads a little bit different. In a soft way, usually people say, I guess, Reginочка, or something like this. If your name is Sofia, we also have this name in Russia. Sofia is more Western version. Russian or Slavic version is Sofia, so both of these variants exist, but they both go short as Sonia, and also it's not a separate name, as I know in Western countries. In a soft way, we can say, for example, Sonichka. And also Sonia, by the way, in Russian means sleepy, so it's a little bit cute. If your name is Tammy, in Russia you can go as Tamara. In a short variant it can be Toma, and in a soft way, I don't know, maybe Tamarочка or something like this. If your name is Tanya, we also have name Tanya in Russian, but it's the short version of name Tatiana. Also, it can be Tanichka or Tanyusha in a soft way. If your name is Julia, we have name Yulia, which is Russian analog, and the short variant is Yulia. The soft one is Yulinka or Yulichka. And again, talking about the month name, if your name is May, we have name Maya. So May, it's also the name of May in Russian, so you can go as Maya. If your name is Jane, the Russian version is Yana. The soft variant is, for example, Yanочка. If your name is Joanna, there is not popular but more Russian version, which is Ioana, and if you want you can go by this name. If your name is Lily or Lilian, there is a Russian name Lilia, which also means lily as a flower, and the short variant is Lilia, so with a little different ending. And it can be, I don't know, Lilichka, for example, as a soft way. If your name is Ellie, you can go as Alena. It's one of the versions of name Yelena in Russian, or there is name Elia, which is the short variant of name Elina. If your name is Dora or Dorothy, there is name Darina, which is not really popular but exists in Russia. So you can go with it, but it also can be shortened as Dora anyway. And the last one for today, if your name is Fiona, again, that's just my fantasy. There is name Faina in Russia, and you can go by using this name, and the short variant is Faya, or in a soft way we can say Faichka. So that's it for today. I hope that this video was interesting for you. Thank you very much for watching. Feel free to share with me your thoughts in comments. It's always very interesting for me to read them. And have a nice day. Пока-пока.